Daniel Penny became the folk hero that we need in a post-constitutional America besieged by existential internal threats. And Penny's example reminds us that we do not have to accept and live with the criminality, the degradation, the subversion, the depravity, and the evil in our society. Penny received about as fair of a trial as he could have gotten in New York City, even though the judge and the prosecutors, including that scumbag Alvin Bragg and his pathetic anti-American underling, colluded against him in a craven effort to destroy a young man's life for sins he could never own. But thankfully, the jury, a Manhattan jury, thankfully did not buy their nonsense.
Yeah, that's right, Vish. And when I think about the difference between the gala last year, and we play that clip here on the show all the time, the where's Jack? Where's Jack? I want to see you. You know, that as one of the bumpers here, which is hilarious. But that was the gathering of the Magadonians. That was 1 year before this electoral victory. But back then there was this energy. I called it all, you know, there was some writer online called us the Barbarian right. And I said, absolutely. This was the energy of the barbarians. It was a barbarian feast. We threw on our tuxes and our bow ties, but rest assured, we are absolutely barbaric. And I just remember President Trump arrived very late. He came in very late last year. I want to say that he arrived around 10, ate a full meal, and then didn't even get up and speak until almost 11 p.m. and then spoke for about an hour and a half. It was one of the latest events that I've ever seen him do. He's also known for holding late night dinners at Mar-a-Lago. That the way that I look at it is the difference between that and this year was last year we were chomping at the bit. This year we're sitting back, we're staying frosty, but we're also understanding what we did and understanding the position that we're in. And I just keep going back to that earlier night thinking, man, those guys had no idea what was coming for them, did they?
No, absolutely not. And you know, one of the most powerful moments during Steve's speech last night was that this was a club that was built from the streets, right? That this is a movement that's come literally from the ground up through the streets here. And that's why it was so effective in New York. But it also speaks to the movement, because what happens here in New York City, especially at this club, as we've been a focal point to it, is that it is a microcosm of everything going on in our movement. This blue behemoth that we're always fighting against and we're in the belly of, right? And so now we have that opportunity with President Trump and his historic victory that nobody was paying attention to it. You know, people thought that they understood what was going on, but it wasn't true. And the media, the left, the Democrats, everyone who decided to ignore us and not take us seriously, if they actually were in the room that night and actually were maybe empathetic's not the word, but perhaps at least willing with an open mind to see where we're coming from and look genuinely at our issues and consider them genuinely. I think that if they had done that, they might have seen something coming, but this makes it much, much sweeter. And on the heels of this victory, I am very, very hopeful and inspired. And I know the chess pieces are moving right now. We are staying frosty, but you know, we're chomping at the bit again, because now we actually want to do something. We have been given the power. And again, that just means that this is just the beginning. And so we need to start getting our ducks in a row, think of some big ideas, and start moving towards those things, because we need those people to carry us through this golden age. And it's not about just the next 2 years or 4 years. It's about the next 12, right? About the next 16, the next 20. It is generational change that we asked for. Donald Trump delivered the victory to open the gates to it. And now we have to walk through it and build our kingdom on the other side.
No, I think that's exactly right. And when you look at this situation, and Steve, of course, sits there and says, we could have 50-year coalition. What does he mean by the 50-year coalition? This is more important than the personality of the individual of Donald Trump. It is more important than the individual of J.D. Vance or Jack Posobiec or Gavin Wax or Vish Burr or Alex Bruce. It's not about any one of us as individuals. What it's about is the massive realignment of the American people and a new way to look at the electorate, a new way to put everyone in this country together with the American people on one side and illegals, non-citizens on the other side. That's the division that President Trump has always made. I'll throw in another one that he's occasionally mentioned: the elites and the experts, right? The elite, the permanent Washington class. Yes, they're going to have to go out as well. They can go back. But the issue is we have the ability before us, and the opportunity is we have the ability before us to rework the movement, rework our politics so that we continue growing. As a matter of fact, look, and by the way, last night I was having a great conversation with this because there were representatives from labor unions, by the way, private sector labor unions, construction guys and steam fitters that were coming in to the gala saying, yeah, we're all Trump guys. We know that the Mitt Romney era and the Paul Ryan era is totally done. We want to be on board. And J.D. Vance has said the same thing, that the wealth of a nation comes from the wealth of the working man and those families. That is the political movement. If we can figure this out, we got the tech bros on our side too. So we got the tech bros, you got the working men, you've got the religious, you've got the social conservatives. You throw it all together. This is the biggest coalition that America has seen in generations.